Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our session of an evening with Sky Teoh, brought to you by the Astronomical Society of Penang. I'm your host, Dr. Derek Lim, and this evening we are greatly honored to have one of Malaysia's pioneers in amateur astronomy, Mr. Sky Teoh, with us today to share his extensive knowledge and experience in astronomy. So, without further ado, let us begin. So, how are you this evening, Mr. Teoh?
Hi, fine.
Good, good,
Yeah,
very good.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for contributing your time to let us interview you today. Okay.
Okay,
So,
welcome.
yes, thank you. And so, let us start off with. Let's start this interview with a question. Just tell us, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, like a brief history of Mr. Teoh?
Okay. In order to show my myself and my brief history in astronomy, let's I'll put forward a presentation on the PowerPoint. Okay, just hold on. Just hold on. Yeah,
Okay, yes.
yeah.
Okay, we can see your screen. Yes,
Okay, so see screen.
yes.
Okay. So good evening, everybody. So let me let you know my own history in this what I call in amateur astronomy. Actually, I'm graduated in 1976 as a chemist in Singapore, in Nanyang University. So by profession, I'm a chemist. Then I've been working in the animal feed and food industry for 20 plus years as operations manager. And actually, I retired at the age of 55. That is around 2007. Meantime, when I was working in the food industries, I already started this promoting astronomy in primary school. That was in the year of 1995. That is actually before I fully retired from my job. So actually, the whole what I call promotion actually stopped last year because of MCO, and because I was so interested in this what I call the astronomy, I built one observatory in my house. That was in the year of 1996. So this is you saw a picture of the first what I call the observatory built in BM. And while we're in this astronomy hobby, I was academic advisor to Star Hunter Astronomical Society and academic advisor to Starfinder Astronomy Society, and also associate member of Astronomy Club of University Science Malaysia. Okay, I don't know whether they are still active in USM or not. Nah. So this is briefly uh, my own history, my personal history. So, Derek, you do you have any question you want to add on my own brief history?
That actually is very interesting. I think that let's follow through with the questions, and then we'll probably get some questions. More, we'll learn more about you as we go along. All right, especially your interest in astronomy. So,
Okay.
also to the audience out there, if you have any questions for Mr. Teoh, you may type it in your in the comment section below the video, and I'll read them out for Mr. Teoh. Okay. So my next question would be naturally, how and when did you start out in astronomy as a hobby?
Okay. Let me start telling the story since 1965. I don't know, most of the audience haven't born yet, right? So I studied at the age of 13. Means that the place where I live actually was in the town itself, in Bukit Mertajam town. But in that time in Bukit Mertajam, the sky is quite clear and there's not much light pollution over there. So as I went outside and I saw some stars there. And even I remember that I used to see a lot of stars during winter time and during the what I call the winter time. That is around December lah, and also during the summertime, there's around July. So I'm start asking question. What is all about these stars? So what I do, I start going to the library. When was that time I was in what I call secondary school. So we try to look what is all this star about. So that's how I go in because of curiosity. So and I learned that in order to see to see the stars with my naked eye, I'm not satisfied with it. So I have to do something. So I start exploring how to make a simple telescope. So from there, from one time from a library, I find that I can use a spectacle lens with a long focus, this spectacle lens, and a short focus of the spectacle lens. I can make a simple what I call the telescope. So on try and error, I managed to bought it from a market that is not far from my house. That people are selling these concave, what I call the lenses for the what I call for the old people. So I managed to ask them to dismantle it, and I try to do experiment. And you find that it's quite interesting that at least with the simple arrangement, I can see something very, very clear with the moon. That's how I start getting more and more interested in astronomy. So in the age of 18, after doing some experiment, and I start more seriously into it, and I start what I call something like that, something in some instrument that I'm able to take it, the photo, I can show people. Because by observing and enjoying myself, I feel rather that try to do something to photograph it and share with people. That's how the photo here, I do the homemade, what I call the astrograph actually. That was in 1970. And you see the what I call the stool that I've sit on it actually was homemade and actually was made by myself with simple tools lah. And then later on, these are clear pictures of the lens in front. Actually, I managed to get a lens from my friend who is open what I call the studio, where he can give me the lens. And nobody actually don't know what is area lens. And area lens is a very short focal length whereby the lens actually pass it down during the Second World War. And the lens is have a short focal length. Like for example, this one, it got a 17-inch focal length with focal ratio of 2.8. If you were to buy the new one, it will cost a few thousand at that time. But this will cost me around $200 plus in 1970. And you see my girlfriend at the time also demo to you the sides between the astrograph and the people. So that's how I will make my girlfriend interested in astronomy. And for future plan, if you get interested next time in astronomy, you don't come and disturb me. Instead of disturb me, instead she will join me. Okay. Then using the simple concave lens, and later on I try to get a bigger lens that is from the what I call the one who's selling the glasses one. They got the lens and I bought for me. I can start learning how to choose a lens. I can tell them the power of the lens, and I try to make a longer what I call longer tube. So from there, so happened that that time I was in Form 6, in lower 6. And I volunteer to build something, a telescope, to present in the science exhibition in the what I call Penang. Because in the Penang State that time, practically in Penang State, you don't see anybody studying this astronomy at all. So, you know, when my teacher told me that, hey, why don't you make a simple telescope and just join the exhibition. Of course, that time, I just tried to use the simple lens. And so happened that that time eyepiece, I got one eyepiece from the school lab where I can get it from the microscope. So after that, the teacher will allow me to have to use what I call the short eyepiece, and I managed to get to make this telescope. And I tried to present it. Of course, the telescope itself, it will not get me first prize, but because of my presentation, I put forward a lot of constellation, telling the judges what's constellation, what this telescope can see, and demo to them with a long distance coconut tree. So the judge was quite impressed. And you know, on that time, there are so many science projects in the Penang state, and you find that the what they have make will not impress with my presentation and with my instrument. So I got first prize, and that is a real encouragement that I further step in and jump into what I call the astronomy more seriously. And on the same year, I asked, because I'm representing Penang, to join the National Science Exhibition. And finally, the same thing, material presentation with all the professors there, impressed them, and I got a second prize. That is a very good, what I call encouragement. And in 1996, I was so serious that I dreamed of having my own observatory. And at that time, in 1996, finally, observatory was made. And that time was a 3-story tall. And you find that you have to, my thinking is that I've tried to make it higher up to avoid the roof. Actually, there's no need to be so high one. But they want to make it last for about 10 years before I changed to the shorter one. Instead of 3-story, I make it into 2-story. And from inside, I upgrading with instrument, and of course, put something that motor drive inside it. So you see, this is a brief history as astronomy, as astronomy as hobby, and I go so serious that I jump into observatory. Spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time. But of course, when I spend time, I seldom affect the family time and my working time. Well balanced. So this is what I'm trying to tell everybody, how I start my astronomy with all these instruments. Yeah, that's all about my how I studied. Yeah.
Very impressive, actually. And very good advice, for those. I think it's too late for me, but those single astronomers out there, find a girlfriend that's willing to join you to watch the stars, and I think that's a great advice.
But you always can show them whenever you got any astronomy session, you can show them what you see, and always tell them the advantage of having this. Try to teach the kids, and maybe you say you can influence the people, trying to influence the society to know about this astronomy. Is doing a good job, right? Good things.
Yes, that's actually truly one of the ultimate endeavors of mankind, I think, just to study the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you? I mean, your telescope is so fascinating. I mean, that the one with the bicycle wheel and the mechanism, I think, to like turn it and stuff. Is that how it works?
Yeah, actually, when I go to exhibition, actually, I haven't finished making this. I'm just using the azimuth mount. That's all. But later on, I try to find that, in front of the bicycle, actually is equivalent to an equatorial mount.
Oh,
You look at
yeah.
the shaft is equivalent to equatorial mount. But the one actually was not shown during the exhibition. The one was not ready. If I were to show this with bicycle wheel, I think there's a good chance I won the first prize in the national science exhibition. Ah, that's
Wow.
exhibition.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, because in a way, like the low latitude of Malaysia
Yeah,
actually helps. Okay, that's very interesting.
yeah,
So can you share briefly, like, what were you feeling? Like you built your own telescope, right? So
yeah.
what was that feeling like the first time you looked through it, and then maybe you looked at the moon or something in the an astronomical object in the sky? What
Yeah.
was the feeling that went through you?
Oh, I mean, using the instrument. Yeah, of course, you find that when it's magnified, actually, whenever you view it, it's a thrill. And especially you look at the moon craters. Wow, you'll be wow, and every time, and you try to share to the neighbors how the what I call the crater look like, and you find that they are with their curiosity face, you find that you're enjoying with show them the result of your telescope. That's how it actually encouraged me to go inside further, because when you show people happy, you also enjoy the happiness. Yeah.
Yes. Very cool. Very cool. Totally awesome. Very wonderful. So, anyways, I think let's talk some more about back in the day. So, you were sharing a lot about this astronomy to your neighbors and friends. So, just what was it like? Can you share a bit? Like, what was it like being an amateur astronomer back in that time?
Okay. So during as an astronomer, I have to do a lot of readings, and as I told you that to share the happiness, I have to find ways to influence the youngsters to understand astronomy, especially in school, secondary school, or even my form six. Even when I go to university, I also try to tell them, about all the astronomy. And actually, finally, I go into the promoting astronomy for public and school students. And for example, when I started promoting, that was in 1995 as amateur astronomy, and I start using the instrument. Try to get somebody who was so interested to show the public uh, how the telescope work. Like for this picture, we show them that we in early in the morning we went to a seaside to tell them to do the observation on the lunar eclipse. And because these people are doing the morning walk, and they'll stop here and join me and show them how we take the pictures. That was 1995. We start showing the public. And in 1995 onwards also, I'll tell you why I start on 1995. Because this year is a very special year. And I start also showing to school. When I showing to school, I try to relate the astronomy on the course they are learning, because during that time they start learning astronomy in their standard 4, 5, 6. So a lot of people don't understand by studying is not good enough. So we do something observation and do some practical for them to see a real telescope and show them how it the what you call the sun look like and the moon look like. Okay, and this is one of school I even was invited to in Terengganu. and this a school in Terengganu. And that time was invited by the state, what I call the science center, to ask me to join in. And also this is another photo where people look at it and they are very enjoying and look at the sun in this case and start investing. You see the car, my car I'm using, I start getting a bigger car where I can house my what I call the my telescope. So you find that after as astronomy, as an amateur astronomer, I have to do this and I get the job even more interested in, right? You know, so this is how I spend as an amateur as an astronomer. See, yeah. So that's all is on this on the question you asked.
Okay, very interesting. So, but I mean, is there any like when you first got interested in astronomy back then, uh, and then you were looking at the stars, did you were there a lot? Were there I'm sure there are like positive and negative reactions, like, oh, is this person looking at something, or they don't know. They might be curious. They come and ask you, is that how it happened? Like back in the day, not say like just at the schools, but like
Oh yes, yes.
observing on
I
your
think
own.
in public,
Yeah.
they are getting asked a lot of question. They'll say that they would like to understand more, and then even the parent will try to influence their students, their kids, to know about this, and even they try to get my contact, and even they try to visit me, and from there, I find that actually it's a need to teach the public astronomy because they are quite positive about what I've shown them. They are very curious, and they really with their eye opening, they say wow, wow, wow all the time. You know, that's why this wow and appreciation actually was actually encouraged me to jump deeper and deeper into astronomy. That
Okay,
is
interesting. So,
yeah.
seems like astronomy is being taken in a very positive light, like even back in the day, which is actually a very, I think, a very good thing. So it seems like, yeah, maybe astronomy does have a lot of, um, positive connotations
Yeah.
in our society, which is exactly pretty good. So I'm looking on Facebook. There are a few questions right here. So by Alina Lau says, I used to read about astronomy and Mr. Teoh in the newspaper and send him envelope with my address to get free astronomy photos from him. So this is a thank
Yes,
you. This is a thank
yes,
you
still
to you.
remember
Right?
that.
Yes. Yes. Wow. So you have a lot of astronomy fans around.
Yeah,
I'm
they
pretty
say
sure.
I
No
sometimes
surprise.
even
Yes.
send them a free photo. And then
Yes.
this is
Yes.
the
Yes.
story there. When I show you something, the photo that I send in, they are very happy. I think some of them still keep the photo. I remember I sent them the solar eclipse photo, Yeah.
Wow. That's very cool. And I think
Yeah.
that yeah, that's one very positive way of promoting astronomy and helping bring about awareness. Yeah,
Right,
this is
right.
something very good that we could
Mhm.
learn from you.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. And there's a second question, okay, or second comment. Let's say, hi, Mr. Sky Teoh. Did you visit Sabah back then? As I
We-
know before, okay, sorry, the question, let me finish reading the question if possible.
Yeah.
I'll say, there is a Sabah Stargazers Astronomy Group, and the secretary is a father in the church in Tawau. Have you heard about this Sabah Stargazers, and have you visited
I
Sabah
heard of
back
it,
then?
and actually, after I'm going to show you, on 1995, I went to Sabah and do my first really a serious astrophotographer. Maybe I can elaborate more on that. I think I heard of that name, but I think I didn't contact with them. So maybe after that, I'll tell them the unforgettable experience in Sabah during 1995. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so I think that speaking then of amateur astronomy and the experiences, um, do you have or can you share some of your unique and unforgettable experiences as an amateur astronomer?
Okay. Uh, Actually, I have a lot of this unforgettable this experience, but because of the time limit, I only can share some of the places where I go. And actually, it was quite interested that there were a lot of things happen in foreign country. Of course, during that time, okay, uh, 1995, when I start what I call serious in as what I call the astronomy, I start going to Sabah and take the solar eclipse on October 24th. I think just now the question they ask you, I think uh, they should have observed it during that time. The total solar eclipse in Malaysia. Okay, and actually when I went there, I only go myself with my 3 4 helper, which is not in the astronomy line, just a friend of mine, where they're influenced by me. They say want to experience with the call the solar eclipse, and you see that you find that at my back of my telescope there are some small telescope. This the one is a group from Japan. They travel all the time from Japan and they try to snap the picture. Okay, for this time, the first time when I take the photo, nobody was quite surprised I can get some nice picture. And I tell you the secret. The picture is that I'm using a Nikon F3. I think those old timer they know it's a professional uh, camera where it can snap 5 photo in 1 second. Why 5 photo with a motor drive? Because this picture you have to snap it within 2 minutes. You have to snap as much as photo, and that time was using a film, and I have to load the film immediately with a friend to help me to load, because when I press one 2 seconds, there's 10 photo already, it take away my 36 photo when I snap just 2 seconds, so this is a photo that I used to present to people, to those who send me a letter. And you see that time in 1995, I really can't believe that I can take with this nice picture where you see the corona and you see the hairlight things that is showing the what I call the magnetic field of the what I call the sun. And this is a photo I'm taking using a frame with a motor drive. Without motor drive, you can't capture this type of photo. Because this photo it will last only 1 to 3 seconds. So this is the best using the motor drive. And actually, I capture the series of the things. I capture more than 20 photo in the sequence where the show up of the Billy Speed and go inside to the what I call the total eclipse. And when I come back in the history, that they give me a full page where a page will contain with break record number of photo in Guanghua, Jipo. So you find that by this photo, by this full page in newspaper come out, actually it was affect a lot of people in whole Malaysia, and even I think most probably the Penang State students, and a lot of people still keep this 1995 what I call the page of the what I call the newspaper. And 1998, I went to Mersing. I think that time Dr. Chong and Mr. Lim, CK Lim, I think also they went to not in the same group, but they went to this Mersing to take this annular eclipse. This is the second unforgettable. And you find that we get all this photo, 22nd August. And with this photo, when I show the people, they are also quite impressed because the time I'm able to focus with all this with the solar filter, I can get this type of quality. And I try to make them into a whole picture and show them, because all this picture, I've used that as a teaching aid to show to the school, and they are quite impressed and really they see the real pictures. And the other time in 2008, we went to Xinjiang. We go to Gobi Desert. Actually, the desert name is actually, I think it's part of Gobi Desert. And this place where I took the picture was actually in Jiuqian. We learned that the Jiuqian, the area, we are not supposed to allow any people to go inside the desert because of the launching of the rocket there. So somehow, myself with late Mr. Lim, and the other one is what I call William Chin. These are the serious amateur go together, and we sneak inside the what I call the desert area where we are not blocked by the guard there, because we go very early. Actually, the solar eclipse started in the evening, but we early in the morning we go inside the desert first before we are being stopped. And you find that I think this photo was actually with the help of William Chin. I try to give them a few photo of the what I call the some of the photo I've taken. He tried to combine them and get even a better, they call it a butterfly corona type of what I call the show. And was actually this, I must give credit to William Chin, who helped me this picture. And when I showed the picture to the school, a lot of people ask me, wow, how come this phenomena? So that I can explain to them, you know. And that time actually was the year of Olympic in China. It means that we are nearly not allowed to go in, because during that time, when you apply for the visa, they are very strict because they don't want to any Tom and Harry to go to China and disturb them. So finally, we have to pay a lot of a high, what I call the visa fee in order to go inside, and we are not allowed to stay there long. And many people are not quite actually not approved, and we actually find we are quite lucky that we go inside. And meantime, when we go there, we also managed to, because the area is very near to the end of the Great Wall. So that time we start learning how to put astronomy together with the scenery, where we call the astrophoto with the scenic background. And this type of picture actually was quite impressed. Many people can perceive it, that how vast is the universe. Like this picture was taken the time we're using the film, you know. So this type of pictures I've don't let what I call very many pictures, long exposure with the film, and to take this type of pictures. But nowadays easier to take, but that time in 2008, it's very difficult to get this type of star trail with the Polaris, right? The one in the dot there where you can see the movement. And actually, this was actually in the Jiayi Guan. It means at the end of the Great Wall, in the very famous, they call the scenic view there. And in 2001, again, we go to the amateur astronomer, the late Mr. Lim, and also William Chin. So these are the few amateur that we all go together. And this is actually, we went to see the what I call annual eclipse in Myanmar. And you see the late Mr. Lim right in the center, and William Chin on my right hand side. And at that time, we try to capture it, try to do it in the hotel itself, you know. So this is quite a good memory for us, because the place actually was in Bagan, where you can take a lot of nice picture with the we call the temples. For example, okay, this is the photo I've taken, And that time, we learned that with the bottom part, you can see some of the formation of the Billy speed. And we are so surprised that with the photo we take, we can even take the Billy speed during the annual, we call the annular eclipse. And we managed to get this exposure, multiple exposure, to show the temple. The temple is called Ananda Temple, one of the famous temple in Bagan. And Bagan itself got almost 3,000 this type of pagodas. And actually, it was actually more than 1,000 years ago, equivalent to those in Tang Dynasty, Tang Cao, Tang Dynasty in China. So that one was actually the empire was booming. So I think before I go further to Alice Springs, any question from Derek or not? Before I go inside further some interesting experience.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Fascinating. It seems like you really love total solar eclipses. Yeah. So actually, I did forget to mention something that the gentleman that mentioned about Sabah stargazers is actually
He experienced that or not?
Mr. Muhammad, Hakim. So for me, total solar eclipse.
Yes, total solar eclipse, right?
Actually, no. I've done an annular solar eclipse.
Oh, annular
but that
eclipse
was in the US.
in the later.
Sorry.
1995 is total.
Yes. I was in the
1998, if I'm not mistaken, because I think it crosses from Sabah, it come into something like it come into Mersing of Malaysia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think those they saw it in Sabah one, maybe I think it's those in 1998 one. 1995 actually it was total solar eclipse.
Yes. So William actually has a question for you.
Oh, William.
Yes, William Chin.
Hey, William, saw your picture, huh, William?
Yeah, he asks, is the 1995 solar eclipse your first total solar eclipse?
Yeah. What is the question he asked?
Is the 1995 total solar eclipse your first observed total solar eclipse?
Yeah, this is my first time. I think he have a lot of my photo that he bought from me.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, he keep as until now. Keep as a
I
secret, you know.
think so. Yeah, he's been commenting. So he has another question. Okay. For your total solar eclipse shot, when you went to Sabah, how many Nikon F3 did you prepare? Yeah. So since you're
During that time, actually, I have two Nikon F3.
Ah.
So actually, when I tried to change it, with just at the back, just try to change it. And that time, actually, I got a two. I borrowed one from my brother. So with the motor dry speed with a 5 photo in 1 second. I can capture a series of the diamond ring, because the diamond ring is a short period. I only lasts for few seconds. Yeah.
Wow. So you are right there. You set it up, have the film, the camera ready, and then you press probably with a remote shutter, right? And then
But
you
I never.
burst it.
I pressed during the during the diamond ring effect only. Press twice. First is the first diamond ring, and the end before it ended up. Because that is the end of the solar eclipse. I snap and try to finish off the frame. You see.
Oh,
Twice.
so you burst like
Chance,
okay. Right.
And when I go to studio, they'll get a shock. Hey, wow, you also can capture with this type of things. They saw my picture. Then that's why when I show this all the series of the photo to the newspaper, actually I given to quite a number of newspaper. They are quite impressed. That's why they say that the Guanghua, they say it's a break record. Since they start 100 years ago, the Guanghua was started by Sun Yat-sen, the newspaper in Penang. So during the Sun Yat-sen time, Dr. Sun Yat-sen?
Yes.
It's the first time they give me so many of the photo in one whole page. Yeah,
Wow.
very very encouraging. That's why I have to
Yes.
go
But
inside to buy a lot of equipment.
yes, but it does take a lot of effort, right? For
Yeah.
preparation and everything, you got to prepare and then switch out the cameras and
Yes, yes, yes. And
quickly put
actually,
it in and
I
then
want help
continue and shoot
to help.
away. Yeah.
Mm,
I think. Oh, okay. And William's comment too. 2035, the the next cycle, okay, will happen again at Trend. So that's kind of William's comment as well. Yeah,
yeah.
on this Facebook. So okay,
Okay.
there's
So shall I proceed?
there's one more question if you're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Please.
Mr. Ben Liao, okay, how do you mount the camera to the telescope to take pictures of the night sky and solar eclipse? So kind
Okay.
of a more basic question, but I think it'll be good to hear how
Okay. Actually,
William.
the instrument I'm using, he got an adapter by itself where it can house any of the photo. If you're using Nikon, you're using a Nikon adapter because the when we buy, we come with what we call the adapter to adapt this camera. Yes. When you buy any instrument, they always got a little accessory where you can fix your camera on it. Yeah. But that you have to use the SLR. Even now, I think you have to watch out with the present type. Make sure that it's SLR before you can mount it onto the telescope. Yes. Mm.
Okay, yes. So yeah, I think let's continue on with our
Okay.
presentation.
So
Yeah.
this time we went to Alias Spring. This is my dream. You know, Alias Spring actually was famous is the red big rock where it changes color during the sunset, sunrise, and it's very, very interesting and very colorful. Again, this time you saw at the top photo, there's one caravan. Huh? Also, William Chin is one of the member where he used to drive. Actually, he don't allow the old man to drive and let the young man to drive. And we travel all right from Darwin right to Alice Spring, and on the way we cross the desert and not really cross the desert, go inside the center of the desert, and we take a lot of very interesting pictures. So some of the photo picture is this picture, you know. You look at this photo, there's so many stars that sometimes I'm confused with the constellation. Because constellation in a normal rural area, you can recognize by the bright star, right? But with this, there's so many, and we go in that time, it was during in the May time, and you find that the Milky Way rises few hours later on, you know. And you saw this picture, the sky was so clear that the starlight reflected on the screen of the car. And actually, I didn't observe it. One of my of the member, Gradient Lock, he saw this and he took the picture and showed us. Oh, Lama, this is a very good teaching material whereby starlight actually he travel right to the earth. Otherwise, I don't see it with the reflection from the screen. So I so quickly quite a number. This idea has come from Gradient Lock. So actually, Gradient Lock, he got a very artistic will of taking the photo. So I learned a lot from him, you know. And then this is one of the oasis that we rest, and you find that our car right on the center there, we park there, and we went to this. There's a pond where they call the spring that come out water. And one of the member there from China, actually it was Jack. He said his name is called Jack. Huh? Then he also said, why not you took a reflection of the stars and continuous taking using the digital and finally end up with this photo, you know. See the reflection from the star trail from this what I call from the star. And you find that this is the southern part. You don't see any Polaris star there. It's you can see just beside it is one small star off the center. And this is a usual scenery. Every night we saw this Milky Way. And you see our people, you see, all the member their own telescope. We park the car there in the not in the middle of the road, seldom in the middle side of the road, but you went inside the semi-desert and we start capture this type of pictures. And you can see, you can imagine that you stand there by looking at this sky, you just feel that jaw dropping. Wow, wow, wow. And we just really appreciate and because so happy and so surprised that we couldn't sleep. You don't feel sleepy at all. You just stand there and with your telescope, with what you call with the instrument on it, you know. So you'll be surprised that a lot of photo was taken by camera only, not by using a very sophisticated what you call the instrument. And this is another photo where you try to show the what you call the scenery with the rocks and what you call the stuff. And you find that right on above the horizon, you see the small galactic and big galactic cloud. And this is where we taken a photo from inside a place where we sleep, where we stay, and from inside we take from the bottom with the leaf as a foreground, and we get a time lapse of it. It come up very nice and very educational. And you see that, okay, from this picture, you saw these two big cloud. I think a lot of people heard of a small galactic cloud and large galactic cloud. In Australia, in desert, it's just like drinking water. You look at it anytime over there. Just a misty patch there. Wow, you get a shock when you see it. Everybody was so, wow, I saw the big galactic cloud. This is my dream. External, what you call, our neighbors, our Milky Way, our what you call our neighbor Milky Way, galaxy. And you find that and a later stage in the second trip, then we go and take a close-up of the big galactic cloud and the small galactic cloud. This is a closer view. And I use the zoom lens to take it. With 3 and a long exposure, you see these two. So nice. Okay. Before I go to there, any question? Or I go to another session. Go to the site.
Yeah, I think just continue on because we're still on Australia, right?
Okay.
So let's go.
So we in 2014 also the same group of people, William Chin, and with this serious amateur astronomer go to the this Siding Spring. This is our dream also. We want to see the observatory. So these are the people. Isa Yap, my wife was with me. Graydon Locke, Hui Check, and then this go the William Chin. And there's one new member at the back of Hui Check is the one he stay in Australia and just follow. He's new to astronomy. He just follow us to this area. And we managed to go inside and take the Anglo-Australian telescope. It's another wow, you know. But we are not allowed to go up lah, you know. And very good experience there. And also we go the nearby place is called Australian Telescope National Facility, Paul Wheel Observatory. Because of going there, because we want to use the radio telescope as a foreground to take this astrophotography on together with the what I call the area. And my colleague, the one who follow with me, they also take a very nice picture. If they show them, even sometimes it's better than mine. So this is all my some of the photos, one of few. And you find the bright spot actually is is the moon itself, because of long trail. And this is a picture. I think I took a picture with the times with what called continuous time lapse, and I try to combine them into this picture. I think I seldom show this picture to people. I think those who see this picture, you're all very lucky. I seldom show this picture. This picture was actually, it started from the bottom, lunar eclipse, right until you see the turn in the red beans, and during the area was total lunar eclipse, not solar eclipse. And you find that it go inside and go outside, and we try to put one of the area there to complement the photo, and you see how nice is the picture, and you see the weather are clear, very clear. So we go to many places to take this picture, and also visit these parks. I think it's Parkes Radio Telescope, and then just take a picture. I think it's one of the biggest radio telescope in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. And also, well, our trip actually involved with visiting of this astronomical sites, taking photo, seldom to go to any tourist spot, because our aim is to take photo. And finally, we go to, there was 2018, also the same group of people, almost the same group of people, we went to Mauna Kea. And this is a very good challenge, because Mauna Kea, we have to go up every day. It means that you have no chance to adapt to the high altitude, because the height is 4,002 meters. It means that you can see the what they call mountain sickness. Mountain sickness, a lot of people don't experience it. So it's a very when you got it, our whole group have to go up. I have to go down to the what they call to the ground level, because it's very dangerous. And when we are down there, we have to see when, because that time we went, I think we go there is during the March time, and you find that during that time, although it's very near to equator, but the mountain at such high, it might be snow upstairs. So every day, William Chin and the other fellow, Jack, they always check whether, use the internet to check whether the weather is good. If weather is good, we just start shoot up there, even in the middle of the night. Sometimes in the evening, you say that I have no chance to go up. But when you see the moon, the start clearing, and you see the star going up, we start our journey, take about 1 hour or so to reach the top. And with all the youngsters, they're driving up and down, so abruptly, within half an hour, go up to set high, you cannot talk loud. You have to breathe it carefully. Otherwise, you might peng sang. I mean, peng sang, you might faint away, fainted, So you see that we park near all the cluster of what I call the observatory around there, and we get a lot of beautiful photo, both fixed and the other also time-lapse. And this is a picture you can see right across the Milky Way. You see the zodiac light. I don't know whether you observe the zodiac light there. And you find that while we are taking, the temperature I measure is around 2 degrees centigrade. And you see the snow still around there. And we find that the place where we park our car, we take our thing, we have to wrap ourselves so thick that because of the high sickness, mountain sickness, we have to keep warm. And even we work until morning to take the sunrise. And the sunrise is above the sky, above the cloud. And it's very impressive because we took a lot of this sunrise with time lapse. and it come up very, very nice. It's very educational, you know, above the level. And these are some of the photo. And you see how I wear the thing. You find that, you know, it's a very heavy, thick dressing over there. Okay. And apart from there, one of our what we call event is to visit the Hawaii volcanoes. And this is we have to walk inside almost 2 hours across this type of terrains to observe this. And this, you cannot effort to fall into it is around 1000 degrees centigrade. And while we are taking, we are warned that even one of our member tell me that, Mr. Teoh, watch out your back. The lava is flowing near your back. So I have to quickly remove my back. Actually, is this Hui Jack and even William Chin always remind the old man, hey, watch out. The lava is flowing towards you. Okay, let's see how the lava flow. Just stop breathing and see. This is a lava flowing just in front of you, next to you, about few feet away. Yeah, you know. Okay, so I think because of time is lacking, I have to move to the next slide. Okay.
Okay.
So okay, next question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Totally fascinating.
You always can ask
Australia,
my audience
Hawaii.
because
Yes.
they can get
And
all these pictures also same, you know.
okay. Yes, yes. And I do know, yeah, all your friends, William Chin, Gradient Low, Kui Jie, I've met them, and yeah, yeah, very, very good astronomers, astrophotographers. So, wow, what an adventure. I think one lesson we can learn here is that astronomy, um, maybe if we don't limit it to just local, if we have a chance, we should travel to experience the night sky in other countries too. Yes, but I think that in Malaysia, where we're staying, um, yeah, there's a lot of challenges to do all these astronomy, right?
Yeah.
Because of the weather and everything, and certain astronomical phenomena we couldn't observe over here because it happens elsewhere. So yeah, I think that with all the traveling happening, and also the situation of observing locally, yeah, what would be your most used equipment, your favorite equipment,
Uh,
like locally and also for
So
travel?
I quickly go through those I used to travel
Yes.
and those you keep in the observatory. So I think first one actually, okay, this is a homemade. I have to go in fast because I think time is quite limited.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, that's all right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So don't forget that camera and tripod is a very good equipment. I always advise people, you can start with your what I call the astronomy photographing with your simple camera and tripod. And because of the high sensitivity of camera, actually is a very good instrument. And then this is a Epsilon E180. It's actually f2.8. It's very good for taking deep skies. And Vixen 4 Apple. And C8 used to bring to other country. Okay, sorry. And you are in my observatory. I have this homemade equatorial mount, homemade, locally fabricated, with the help of one of the amateur astronomer to help me to what call the make the what I call the worm gear. Okay, and this I used to bring it to school to USM to show people 12.5 inches is another telescope. Then a lot of picture, a lot of public try to stick to this photograph. to this instrument, and then you have to climb up with a ladder. I didn't show the ladder here, and this actually was in USM. Whenever USM any exhibition, this telescope will be there. Actually, was making Dobsonium. Okay, and these are the astrophotograph gears. Look at it. I invest a lot of all the gears, but I have no time to spend one by one. But these are quite fundamental. And each time we bring more than 4 to 5 camera to take photograph, to take the astrophotograph. And this is the equipment that I bring along is a C8 with a great equatorial, so not a C8, actually it was actually great Polaris. And you find that here, Jack at the back, William, Hui Jack, this, and my wife, Hui Jie, okay. And the C8 Polaris C8 mount, and also Takashi 60 upper where I bring to this Burma, because Burma they are quite difficult to bring big objects. Sometimes the plane very difficult to carry a big one because they use a small plane to go over there. And this is the latest mount that I used to bring it to school, because school time in the school, when you show the people, you cannot afford to look at the star. You have to use something go to. And I use the iOptron exact mount where I used for the past 4 years, and you can point to the sky quite accurately. And these are the two that I bring to the school where the students would enjoy the planets, some of the deep sky, and moon, and also the sun. Of course, the sun I have to use the put the solar filter in front. So from this one, actually I do a lot invest of the instrument, but I find that what I've invested is very worth it, because a lot of people ask me how much you spend this, why you spend this. I say I spend this, for example, this I spend about 10 to 20,000 on this, equivalent to a small car, but my car can bring a lot of people. A country can bring 4 people, but this one for 4 years, I bring thousands of people just by, literally lah. I show them with this one, more than 10 of thousands of people using this instrument. So what I invest on this actually very worth it, because everybody I just pay 1 or 2 or 10 cents or 20 cents to each of this audience to use of my instrument, So, okay, this is what briefly actually I didn't show all, but this is my major instrument. So if you want to get into this serious things, you make sure that you have to spend a lot of money. Okay, that's all my presentation on equipment.
Okay, very interesting. I especially like the fact that you say that every time you travel, you bring 4 to 5 cameras. I'm going to tell my wife that.
But I tell you, you tell my wife, you tell my wife, normally I didn't tell my wife. I hide the camera. I say I bring only 1 or 2. But when I reach there, I show them, I go, how come? I say, if you stop me, I cannot do a lot of projects. So I think a few times, I have to invite my wife together and let him see how we do the do astrophotography. And by doing so, he also enjoy it, because he also learned from that. Because in school, I'm the one to show the students the stars. But my wife was trained in 1995 to give a talk in astronomy. She can talk better than me.
Wow.
I plan the PowerPoint. He can talk PowerPoint. He can, because she is a teacher. He can talk in the teacher wavelength of teaching. If I go to talk, the student might not understand what I'm talking. But if he try to talk to the students, he can control the students, and he know the way to teach them in astronomy. So you see, when I go through all this, I use a lot of instrument because I need the photo to as a teaching slides, teaching aid to show the school. And the school, they look at the photo I'm showing them, they are quite impressed, and they can go into astronomy very, very fast. And even the influence in future, when they go to the secondary school, they will join those secondary school society, astronomy society. So any more questions?
Very wise words. Yes. So basically, communicate your interest to your significant other, so that they're aware why we need these things. And I think your comment about a car being able to carry only four people, but that telescope, it just give me the imagination that it's like a spaceship. It
Yeah.
takes 10,000 people on a tour through space,
Actually,
looking at
I try not to
all the objects in the sky.
enunciate. I tell you,
Yeah.
for the past 20 years, since 1995, actually it's more than that. But you tell more figures that people might not believe. But William Chin will aware of where are we are aware of this,
Yes, yes. I actually I believe very strongly, because this thing, the outreach can be very wide. But despite that, despite that, there's still a lot of pockets of astronomers out there. So apparently, there's a comment on YouTube actually that mentions that there's a gentleman, probably named Thomas. He got enthusiastic about astronomy at 6 years old. Comet, Halley's Comet.
Oh,
So I think 1986, right?
86,
1985,
right?
86. Yeah, yeah. So and there was no one to share, not many people to share with it, with the astronomy interest. So I think there's still a lot of people out there that we can try to reach out to. So I think the journey goes on, right, in this
Yeah.
outreach, astronomy outreach. Yeah. So I think let us wrap up with
Okay.
one final question.
Yeah, I think the
Okay.
final question very fast. I think time's
Yes.
completed already. Yeah.
So I,
So
I
what is
think
the
that's
question?
what were you what maybe you can share, like, what you find to be the biggest challenge of being an amateur astronomer in Malaysia.
Okay. Okay. In the astronomer, as a amateur astronomer, I think is in Malaysia. I list out the 6 point here. I think our educational system here, not like America, where they try to get the people involved more in astronomy. And so far, last time when I go in, not much full support from government. At a later stage, yes, we they come out with a lot of the observatory in KL. They start up with the national geography, this national what I call observatory in Langkawi. Yeah, more and more people get involved. And actually, in Malaysia, it's not a hot hobby. Okay, and very difficult to good equipment. We have to import it, or now at least we got some like CK Lim. They are selling this good equipment, but everybody have to spend quite a lot of money, so they have to start with a simple one. And in Malaysia, it's very unpredictable weather. That's why with William Chin and Greenlock, we used to travel outside to a desert where we can ensure of a more appropriate and more appropriate and more less pollution, predictable weather. And that's why because of good bad weather, unpredictable weather, it's very difficult to find good spot for observation. But I think they have found quite a number of places like in Pulau Perhentian and Pulau Tioman, and maybe some in Sabah. But the one is not within the reach of most beginner in Peninsular Malaysia. Okay, and so another problem is that when I start astronomy, there are a lot of lack of guidance. Like during in the 1960s or 70s. So you have to make yourself. The other problem, a lot of people interested because of family time and a hobby. Actually, when we start as a hobby, this one, when you start a family, you have to give away time to the family. So this is always a problem. You have to strike a balance between family time and the hobby time. And the other one, of course, the finance problem in getting equipment. So these are the, because I think the income of Malaysian not as good in those in America or in other places in Europe. So these are the problem that a problem we face lah. So I just go through very difficult to source equipment, lack of guidance, family time versus hobby time. In my case, I'm okay because I try to get my wife involved in astronomy. That's why we have to work together to do the presentation. So it's always, whenever say want to go, when William Jin invite me, say why not we go to this? No problem. Also, I get the financial support from my wife. Okay, so I think that's all from my side. Okay,
Thank you,
time.
thank you. Yes, very good advice, and I think that yeah, the probably the weather unpredictability is actually one of the most difficult. But I think it's almost like yeah, that one compared with the family time. Like since the weather is so unpredictable, once the sky is clear, then you figure out, oh, I gotta go out, and then so there's the kids. Or the wife wants to go watch a movie, that new movie or a Korean drama with you, and
That's the problem.
yes.
Ah,
So yeah, I think in the end it's a balance, it's a juggle, and we just have to take it
yeah.
like in stride. So I think that um,
Is that's all? My from my side. Any question?
yes, I think that there's no more questions from the audience. Okay, and from me too. I think that it's a wonderful sharing. I really enjoy all the photos and
thank
all
you.
your experience that you share. So yes,
I hope
on
that you
behalf
are
of
not addicted as myself. Not as addicted as myself. I'm really addicted.
yeah, it's actually a good thing because to be passionate about it. I myself I do observe a lot too, but I'm kind of as I do this, part of why I volunteer to do this is to kind of like pick up knowledge and experience from all the fellow astronomers or people who have been doing it way longer than I've been doing. So I really appreciate a lot of this sharing that you gave here today. Yeah, and I think that the audience too will have gain a lot from all your sharing and experiences. And so I think that online I don't see any more questions. There's probably no more on YouTube. So um, once again,
Yeah.
big thank you to you, Mr. Teoh,
Yeah.
for
Welcome.
sharing. Yes, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay. I
Hope
hope
to meet you
everybody
in person.
enjoy my
Yes,
show, and I
yes,
hope that you have will influence you in one way or another.
yes. I think most definitely. Okay, so see you next time, and thank
Okay.
you to everyone that's listening out there. We'll
Okay.
have
Bye
another session
bye.
next month. Okay, bye bye. Yes, bye.